Hey guys, how's it going? Bobby here with our next installment of Quick Tips number 3. So last month Bert did the Goblin. We were going to do the Whiplash this month, but the reason we really decided not to was because Chris and I already did an extended walkthrough on the Whiplash on YouTube. It's under my YouTube channel, Bobby Watts Heli. And there's really not much more else we can say about the models. So there's plenty of videos out there about it. So instead, we gave the opportunity to our buddies at Empire Hobby out in Phoenix. They do a great job. They do the fireworks at IRCHA. If you guys have seen that huge demonstration, it's just ridiculous. They do the indoor fun fly at the Phoenix, the Arizona Cardinals Stadium, the indoor fun fly out there, and they do a good job. They do Hyperion and all sorts of other companies, including Gaui. So this month we're going to be talking about the Gaui X7. This is their latest and greatest machine. It's a 700 size machine following their X5 and their X4, which are it's a 520 size machine and a 425 machine respectively. So Gaui's been in the game for quite a while. I think it's probably about 15 years. I know that they started with one of their first models was actually that Shogun. If any of you guys remember that Zoom Shogun, it was one of the first little electric helicopters ever. They produced that, and then they came out with their Hurricane series and stuff. But to be honest, they've always been associated with stuff it's not bad, but it's never been exactly top of the line sort of stuff. But let me say this, Jack and I have been buddies for a long time, Jack at Empire, and he decided to send me the X7, and just looking at it and building it, I am super impressed. Just as a complete unbiased opinion, it was really, really nice. The components are very high quality, the machining is excellent, everything fit together just like it should, and I'm going to say this time and time again, but this thing is not your typical Asian helicopter. It's really not. This is in the top tier levels of helicopters, I think. The price point on the kit is $8.99 for just the stock kit. The kit that they sent us is a special version. It included Rotortech blades, I believe 690s, as well as a rebranded Scorpion motor. We'll show you all about that, as well as Rotortech tail blades. So it was nice that I just needed batteries and speed controller to put it together. They come in with a lot of goodies with this thing, including the life-size carrying bag that pretty much anyone else but me could fit in. Bert could probably fit in it, but I don't know if I could. Including that, a canopy cover, painted canopy. Let's see what else. We got lots of things on the helicopter that really makes it nice. It's a really nice model. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a brief overview for you. We're going to show you my electronics setup. We're going to do a flight. We're going to go over some of the crash parts cost and just show some really cool features about it. I think it's a nice model. Gaui has really stepped into they're up to everybody's par with this model, and I think that they've exceeded a lot of expectations. It's just really a nice model. I can't get over it because I'm so used to their 200 stuff. Their 425, if you recall, a few years ago at IRCHA, they had a plastic kit that was selling for 50 bucks. I mean, it's not that. This is a whole new helicopter. So let's get into it. Let's take a look, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So let's do it. The Gaui X7. So now it's time to go over some cool features of the Gaui X7. Now these guys have been around in the hobby for a while, and I think that they've learned a bunch of stuff. So this is their latest and greatest, and I think that this is probably the best machine that they've got to offer right now. So this is their 700 size electric, selling for $8.99 for the kit. This version actually sells for, I believe it's $12.50, and this one comes with a motor and blades and tail blades. They actually came with some Rotor Tech blades, but I prefer Matt's real blades for right now, so we're gonna fly that. Also, one thing you'll notice is it comes with a really cool canopy cover. So we'll pop it off here. Get it off. So it comes with the canopy cover as well as a super duper painted canopy. So I don't know, I think it's pretty cool the fact that, you know, they're really listening and seeing what guys are wanting out there, and they're doing it. It's canopy cover and canopy. So let's go over the machine a little bit. Got it all built here. The build was not that bad. It really wasn't bad at all. I didn't struggle with anything. Manual was pretty clear. They didn't have any errors in there that I saw. So let's go over a few of the really cool things. So we'll start with the rotor head. As you can see, it's just super beefy. They've got a 10mm spindle and a 12mm main shaft. The head is nice and wide, which is, you know, I really like that. Grips look nice. The blade grip arms attached with one bolt. This is actually a 4mm bolt. Now, I've heard of people with the prototypes, they were either ripping these out or they were coming out. So what I would recommend, what I did with mine is I'd red Loctited this guy, and if you ever think that it's going to come loose, you can red Loctite the whole arm onto the grip. Yeah, it might be a pain to get off with some heat, but hey, you don't want it to break in flight. So they've got some really cool anodizing going on here. Black anodizing, they come back and they cut it again. I really like the way that they've got these anti-rotation linkages. It's very similar to the Henslet TDR from what I'm hearing. It's a little plastic loop right here, and it's a stainless steel turnbuckle that you actually adjust to adjust your linkage rods. And to adjust it, there's actually a little hole here that you put your 1.5mm hex wrench through, and you can turn the rod because these are threaded in different directions. So instead of having to pop the link off and change it, you can actually change it without having to pop anything off. Lastly, on here on the swash, I really like the fact that they cocked it 90 degrees so that when the swash rotates, the linkage goes in the same plane as your blade grip. So this here, I highly doubt it. I don't even think it's possible to pop a link to the blade grip, which is just nice. It's just nice security. Going down, they've got a really tight swash plate. When I actually moved it up and down on the main shaft, it was probably the smoothest operating swash plate in the Heimball in here. Seems to be really nice quality that I've ever really seen on a model. Once again, this model is just screaming of high quality. I mean, these guys are in a whole new league of, you know, in terms of things that I've seen with Gaui. These guys are really, they stepped it up big time. And this is a nice model here. You're really getting, you know, this is in the Whiplash category. This is in the JR Vibe category, the Hirobo category. You know, this is not in the, you know, this is not your typical Asian manufacturing quality. So moving down, we're gonna go to the, we'll go to the direct drive servo. I'm a huge fan of the direct drive servo layout. You know, when it's time to design the Whiplash, I did the same thing, just because it's so much easier and it flies so true. It just flies so great. So the way they chose to do it was these two servos vertically cocked out on an angle, and this back one is flat. Not a huge fan of that because this back one can kind of flex, but they put a frame support in here, so it's okay. I think it's going to be good. On the front two, they put these four little brackets, 1, 2, and then the other side of the same, 3, 4. These brackets are slotted, and it gives you a bunch of different brass spacers and different balls and stuff here, so you can align your servo to get it perfectly up and down this way, and then from the front you can get it perfectly up and down this way, and that just gets rid of any interaction you might have. And this is a carbon standoff here for the canopy, which I think is pretty cool. Next, going down, canopy standoffs. They call them breakable, so they're really skinny. I guess they could just snap off in a crash. The back two come with thumb screws. The front two are just your regular O-ring. Moving down, we have a crown gear setup, which I haven't seen anybody do since the miniature aircraft days. So you can see our black crown gear here. It's just plastic, and then that is driven, I guess you can't really see it. Maybe from the top you can see it. This gear way down in there. It's just a gear that comes off it's on the same plane as the tail boom. It's really cool the way they did it. They grab the gear and they put it into a little bit of an aluminum housing, and that slides into the tail boom. And then the gear has a little pin that goes on the front, and that slides into your front transmission block. So this allows it to not have any flex. And that gear is also plastic, so you've got two plastic gears. I tried to strip it so far in testing and I haven't been able to do so, but we'll see how it holds up in the long run. So they actually did a pretty nice job with it, and the mesh is preset. You don't have to set any meshes. Moving on, we got a huge main gear here. This thing is, I believe it's mod 1.2. It's slanted gears, which is nice because you can hear it. It's just nice and quiet. This machine's pretty quiet in the air, to tell you the truth, which is nice. And the main gear price is, you know, once again, since it's a molded plastic, it's really not too bad. I think there are two for under $15, which is really, really nice. So moving forward, we've got a bit of a unique drive system for the motor. Once again, this was the motor that came with the model. This is a Scorpion rebranded HK3 4035 500 kV. They included a 10-tooth pinion with this. I think for what I'm trying to do, I need to go to an 11-tooth pinion, so I got to order that. I just need to get the head speed a little bit higher. I'd like to run it around 2200. So they've got your motor bolting to this aluminum block here, and then you can see from the two top screws looking down, this actually bolts onto your bearing block here, your main shaft bearing block, which is nice because that creates a really solid, really rigid platform, and there's going to be no flex. Then you can see these black plates on the side. These are clamped to the frame, and these are on both sides, and they just really make the whole motor system very rigid. And very lastly, we've got these, they look like a sheet metal sort of bent plate on both sides. And these are actually heat sinks. So what they do is they stand off from the motor mount, and these just dissipate heat. Now, I'm very interested to see how these hold up, because honestly, in any other helicopter, if we're pushing these motors really hard, just the standard HK3 motors, I know Kyle Stacy and I have seen him do it a few times. They last about maybe 15 flights or less, and then they'll just start to smoke and or catch on fire. And I think that that's because of the cooling. Now I'm really tempted to bet that these heat sinks will help that, because after a flight I'll feel these and they're pretty damn warm. So it's good to see that, you know, they tried something new with the heat sink, and I really like it. I thought it was a great idea. So A+ for Gaui on that one. So moving forward, you've got two sort of trays right here. They hold my CGY750 here, and then that holds my speed controller right here, the Castle HV120. So it's two sort of those plates here, and then a third one on the bottom, and that's just where I have wires going through and whatnot. So simple sort of front layout. It's nice. I guess we'll take a look next at the battery mounting. So battery mounting's kind of different. They've got a plate floating vertically here, and they've got it, it stands off by two sort of frame spacers. One there, and then the one on the front, you can see it's got a little bit of a rubber boot. And when it's time to put the batteries in, I'll show you how that works. So interesting sort of battery layout, two straps. It's not going to go anywhere. I can guarantee you're not going to inject a battery out of this helicopter. So it's pretty cool. Landing gear, they seem to be pretty rough. They look really similar to the Align landing gear. Wish they would have made something that looks a little bit different, but hey, it's a piece of plastic and it works. Moving on, it's a double sort of frame layout here. You got two stacked up pieces of carbon, so this is really rigid for any sort of hard landings that you might have. Next, I'll swing it around so you can see the tail servo from that side, so you can see our tail servo in there. Just going to a simple push rod. We've also got a gyro plate back here. I saw pictures from some of the guys running like a mini V-bar. They put it here, and then all their wiring stays back here, so you don't see any sort of wiring running up that way, but it is what it is. So I chose to put my sensor back there. Moving back to the tail boom, we've got a really simple just the straight up aluminum boom with three boom clamps, or three push rod guides, should I say. And this is a simple screw that goes in and tightens it up. It's really simple. They didn't reinvent the wheel here. It's just your standard sort of tail system. You've got to glue your boom support ends in with epoxy. They're holding up just fine. And lastly, we'll end up with the tail rotor. They did a really nice job on this box here. It's pretty light. I like it because when it's time to change the shaft, you can just pop off your one screw from your hub, and then you can just take this side off. If we can swing the camera around this way so you can see 1, 2, 3 bolts. Take this side off, and then the whole shaft and gear and everything just comes off. So on here we've got 2 radial bearings and a thrust bearing in the blade grip, and also, I wish I had a spare one to show you, but it's nice, the hub sticks out and is actually threaded, and you put a nut right there, which is nice because I think that allows for a lot more material to be there in this steel hub, so that's nice, it'll hold on. And we've got a FAI style tail pitch slider right here, which is nice. They've been proven. Once again, I don't feel like they reinvented anything in the tail system here. It just works. I haven't had any sort of vibrations or anything. We're running 105 tail blades here. So that's pretty much the main features of the X7. I'd say that there's not a whole lot of groundbreaking stuff in here, but I think overall they just did a really good job putting a nice solid model together. Advantages, I would say, over, let's say, a T-Rex or something, I would say definitely the direct servo drive. I like this. This style head I'm a huge fan of. I just like how beefy it is, and you know, everything's very smooth, very precise. Comes with the slanting gears. It's nice. The crown gear setup is good. I don't think it's going to be a problem. The heat sinks allow you to run, you know, a cheaper motor, to tell you the truth, and allow you not to cook it. And I think it's a decent looking helicopter. And Gaui threw in a bunch of cool perks like this canopy cover and also a helicopter bag, which we will show you. So that was the helicopter walkthrough. Showed you some features. Now I'm going to show you my electronic placement and setup. Now it's time for electronics. So this is an electric, and it's got a lot of soldering required, which is just lovely, let me tell you. So we're going to talk about batteries. The guys at Empire, once again, were nice enough to send us some packs. Here they're using the 6S 45C discharge 5000s. I ran these the Hyperions a while ago, and they're really nice packs. I was always a fan of these. They just simply worked. So 2 of these, 1 on each side. Let me show you the battery install. It's not too bad. I don't think it's the easiest out there. I don't think it's the most difficult out there. But what you're going to do is you're going to put 1 on each side. So we can start with this side, if camera lady can follow me around. So we're going to push the little front forks into where I showed you where that little rubber spacer was. And then the back just goes around this little peg. They say you can put a grommet on there, but I don't really need the grommet. I just think it's easier to do that. Then I'll swing around on this side. I'll do the same thing. So I'll stick it on that front sort of peg, right there. So we've got the 2 packs, and then you simply just Velcro them. So we'll sit here, and we shall Velcro them in place. Done. Not too bad. And then it's nice because you've got your motor wire, your battery wires coming right through your speed controller wires, and that's all under the canopy. So I don't ever see that coming apart in flight. Once again, our balance is pretty much dead on. Can't expect any better from that. So that's our battery setup. Pretty easy to exchange and whatnot. I'd recommend, if you guys are getting this model, to pick up some more battery plates. It's just easier to keep them attached. Next we'll go on to speed controller. Running, once again, this is the Castle Ice 2, the one that doesn't catch on fire, HV120. This thing's working great. I'm just running stock settings. Bert and I don't run anything special on those things. Next is my CGY 750. Once again, just running the latest update on that thing. I believe it's version 1.2 in there right now, with my sensor in the back, as I already showed you. Next is the, once again, as we showed you, the HK3 4035 500 kV motor from Scorpion. Gaui rebranded this. I guess they call it a rebrand. Comes in some of the kits. It's nice. I'd recommend for you guys out there with the 10 tooth pinion, at least a 530 kV motor, if not a 560 kV motor. I think that's just gonna help get your head speed where you want to be. If you're in the 500 kV, maybe 530, you want an 11 tooth. So you might want to order that as well when it's time to order your kit. Next is the servos. I'm running the, I guess you can't see the number, it's the BLS 255 HVs from Futaba, high voltage. I'm running high voltage from my BEC, which, as Bert and I mentioned in our a Big Electrics episode number 2 this season, this is the Hercules Super BEC, and this thing just rocks. I love this thing. You can solder it right to your connectors where your battery's going to plug in, and that gives me adjustable voltage. So I adjusted that to 8 volts, so I'm running high voltage on everything, and that gives 8 volts to the whole system, including my tail servo here. This is the brushless 256 HV from Futaba. You can check it out. It works great. So everything's running a high voltage setup, which is nice. No regulators or step downs or anything. So there's nothing special here we're doing on electronics at all, just normal setups as we showed you. Running a governor mode with the Castle, running, I believe it's medium gain, nothing too special. Once again, we're running 690 blades here, and we are running 105 tail blades here. I've even heard that because their tail gear ratio is so high, they can get away with 95s on the tails. Haven't tried that yet, but you never know. So that means this will hold great at a lower head speed. Okay, so now it's time to talk to you guys a little bit about some literature and some prices. So first we have the manual. This kit actually came from, if you saw, there's a great walkthrough of every single part of the kit by JC Zankel and Pinion. It's on YouTube somewhere. And Pinion, the little dog, was kind enough to sign the manual because we got his kit. How nice. So the manual was very nice. It's not exactly the most flashy manual. You know, for instance, if you take a look at the part, it's just your normal sort of drawings. It's not exactly the most flashy, but it's really detailed. They don't say too much, which is nice. A lot of times when there's a ton of writing in there, it just seems to get in the way and just gets, I don't know, just makes things complicated. There was really never any time when I struggled with anything. I thought for the most part it was pretty clear and concise, and I built it exactly per the manual, and it worked just fine. So that's the manual, nothing special. I think they say keep an eye on online for the updates. This was version 1.2.1 for those of you who care. So that's my manual. And next we're gonna look at prices. Now for the people in the US, if you're unsure about how Gaui works, they have a distributor in the US called Empire Hobbies. Once again, they're out in Phoenix. For those of you overseas, I know there's a lot of different foreign distributors. Just please take a look by your country. You can go to the Gaui website and take a look. You know, I know in Europe they've got FastLad, they've got all sorts of people. They're a pretty big company. They're bigger than you might think, so take a look into it. But the way that they do it in the US with Empire, it's kind of cool. If you go to empirerc.com, you can actually, if you want to check out their website here, you can actually browse all your parts on the Empire website. And if you can't find a hobby shop that stocks your parts, as long as they go through Empire, you can actually buy your parts from Empire, and they will ship it from their warehouse, but it'll act like you bought it from your local hobby shop. So your local hobby shop will get the business, but it'll come right from Empire, and it'll probably come in a few days. So it's one of the cool things. They showed us how it worked, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I figured we'd mention it here on SmackTalk. So now it's time to take a look at the Gaui X7 parts. I think this model will hold up pretty well in a crash. It's pretty beefy. But let's take a look at some of your average parts. For instance, let's see, let's scroll down here. They've got a bunch of different, they've got everything you need. Let's take a look. For instance, your spindle and your main shafts. If you can take a look here, your spindle, 2 of them, it's about 15 bucks, and main shafts, 2 of them, it's about 20 bucks. Your gears, it's looking like it's about a whole gear set for $15 for like a front and a back. So far we're doing okay. Side frames look like they were around $60 to $80, which seems to be about right. Canopy I'm seeing here, $90 painted. You know, sort of average prices here. It's not your cheapest helicopter out there, but I think it's in that league of the high class Japanese helicopters or the high class American helicopters, but the parts are pretty nice. Pretty good crash cost. For instance, a torque tube. So you might be able to see here $16 for a torque tube with the ends and the bearings and everything. That's really nice. 2 booms for $15. Once again, those huge 100-tooth main drive gears, you get 2 of them for $18 right there. That's a heck of a deal. That main gear is nice. That's a really nice main gear. The crown gears are 2 for $12, so pretty okay. I'm impressed. Skids $7. You know, different pinions that you could want, $18. You know, that's pretty much the main sort of cost, but people don't realize that when they crash, most of the time they break blades and electronics and other things that are more expensive than the kit. But for the most part, I think this thing's going to hold together for a while. It seems like a nice quality helicopter. So there we go. We got the manual and the parts costs. Not too bad. So now we're here at beautiful February afternoon in Florida. Shorts and shirt sleeves. Once again, I can't complain. So now it's time for the Gaui X7 flight demonstration. So powered by my 18MZ, we're going to install the packs like I showed you, and hopefully it won't be that bad. So after flying this thing a good bit, I like it. It's a different feel in the air from, I guess, the Whiplash or something. The Whiplash felt really light and poppy. Maybe that's because it had a more powerful motor in there from Scorpion. But this thing just feels, I wouldn't say it feels sluggish, but it just feels very solid in the air. Like I feel like I can, you know, this will be great for a mix of, you know, maybe not the total erratic 3D SmackDown style. Maybe not the total FAI, but really like a good blend in between. It feels very stable and predictable. So that's good. I kind of imagine that after seeing such beefy head. So the batteries are in. They're not going anywhere. So we will fire it up and we'll go fly. Cool. All right, let's do it. Alright, so here we go. This is the X7. This is the stock canopy that comes with it. I've seen online they've got some photos of another canopy that just it kind of stretches back and actually anchors back here. It looks really wicked actually. So I think that that one might be an upgrade for guys who don't like the look, and they can turn the skids backwards and it seems to look a little better. So let's go fly this thing. So I'm running a 2150 head speed. And let's see how it goes. So this is a lower head speed that I've got right here. This is like, I don't know, 2,000 maybe? And this is my 2150. So let's do it. Once again, it's really quick. It's got a, you know, it's a nice stable sort of feeling. When I plan it, it stops right in. Very good tail authority. Blades part nice and loud. And once again, it's smooth. It feels really solid in the air. You know, maneuvers like that, it can really go. So when I go big, you know, it feels good. It's a nice locked-in feeling. It's very quiet thanks to the slanted gear. Now, if you hear my head speed dropping off, that's because these packs are brand new. I just soldered them this morning. Thanks to Empire for sending these for the video. But I like them. The Hyperion packs are nice. Very smooth. it's a good feel to it. I really like it. So we'll come hauling ass. It moves. If cameraman can follow, we'll try to do a big pass here. I don't know if it's as fast as the Goblin, because that thing has a built-in fuse to it, but the sucker's fast. Still getting comfortable with it because it's a new helicopter to me. But with the 750 setup, just stock settings, nothing. I didn't do anything crazy here. With that setup, all the models fly the same to me, so it's nice. But as long as the machine holds up, I think Gaui is a winner with it. So let's do an auto here. Maybe if they let me hang on to it for a little bit and play with it, we'll get some more videos out of the X7. I know JC Zenko has some videos out there. Let's put it in the grass. Cool, so that's our Gaui X7 on the quick tips. Overall, I think it's a great helicopter. They did a great job with building it. Nothing was crazy. Very solid, seemed to hold together in the air. Can't seem to strip anything yet. Can't seem to break it yet, so it's still new, but overall I'm really happy with it. I think they did a great job, so check it out. Check out Gaui's website. They're a Taiwanese company, very cool people. Check out Empire's website if you're in the US. Find your local dealer if you're interested in it, and just got released, so you should be able to find them out there. So next month we're gonna head on to Las Vegas and Birmingham, and in between those two fun flies, I'm pretty sure we can find a quick tips number 4 for you guys. I'm sure we'll have a special guest, and it should be really cool. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cool, so we're done flying, and I got to disconnect the batteries, turn off my radio. We can come over here. And the cool part about this helicopter actually is what it comes with as a bonus option. So I believe the first X number of kits came with these. From Gaui, I think maybe the first 100 kits came with these. Actually from Empire, they're offering them to their dealers and whatnot. We have a cool carrying bag. Check this out. So even the Canopy could be on there. Stick it in the bag. Zip it up. I'm going home. My little tote bag.